You're listening to 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair, New Jersey.
That was the top of the hour. Intro is by Bleecker. Highway, it's a good song. Anyways, this is the Morning Buzz. It's Friday. I'm Ryan Trick. Break out your coffee. I'm drinking tea. Kaya, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm loaded with caffeine.
It's going to be a great show today. I'm excited. We have two contributors, two guests today. We have like the whole Morning Buzz like production crew right now. We got Jeremy Wall and Amanda Marino here joining us today. It's going to be a good show. For those of you who are listening, normally I would say please join in on Facebook Live. However, sadly, Zoom is swamped with so many people using its wonderful technology, so we cannot go to Facebook Live today, but feel free to check out the recording for any visual content later on YouTube.
And you can leave your comments there.
Yeah, and you can leave your comments there. But yeah, it's the Morning Buzz. I'm very excited for today's show. For those of you who are listening who may be celebrating any religious holidays, happy Passover, happy Good Friday, and happy any holidays I might be missing.
Happy make it your own. Happy be kind to yourself.
Own holiday day.
Absolutely. Be
exactly.
kind. Kindness is key.
Exactly. Kindness is key. And we got some good news for you guys on this Good Friday. But first, before we get into celebrities and ferrets and Waffle House, we're going to throw it over to Jeremy Wall for the newscast today. Jeremy, what's going on in the world?
Ryan, CNN is reporting that New York now has more confirmed coronavirus cases than any nation, and things are predicted to get worse. According to models, the United States is predicted to reach its peak of deaths this Sunday. To help continue dealing with the threat, states such as Hawaii, New Mexico, and Utah are now setting more restrictions. According to NPR, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has left intensive care and is now in regular ward. His office reported that he is in extremely good spirits. Johnson is believed to be the first major world leader to test positive for the virus. Many people here in New Jersey are still struggling to get unemployment, and Governor Murphy is now vowing. NJ.com has reported that Murphy said yesterday during a television appearance, "You will not lose one penny of that which is owed to you." Dozens of New Jerseyans having filed for unemployment, while many are still trying to get it. The state labor commissioner, Rob Asaro-Angelo, suggests people get on the website early in the morning or late at night when there is less traffic. Saturday Night Live is returning this weekend with a remote episode. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the show has been on hiatus after suspending production due to COVID-19. Nobody will be hosting the show. However, it will contain a weekend update as well as other original content. The episode will air tomorrow night at 11:30 on NBC. Sports might be quiet, but that's not stopping Forbes from estimating the Yankees as baseball's most valuable franchise. According to ESPN, the business magazine is estimating the Pinstripes to be $5 billion, up 9% over the previous year. Making number two was the LA Dodgers at $3.4 billion. Other teams that they estimated as valuable franchises are the Red Sox, Phillies, Mets, Cubs, Giants, Cardinals, along with the Rays, Reds, Royals, Marlins, and Athletics. So good to hear about all those wonderful baseball teams making the Forbes lists of valuable franchises. All right, let's get to the forecast today. We are looking at a chilly and windy day with highs in the high 40s. Tomorrow, the weather gets nicer with sunny skies and highs in the 50s. Finally, Easter arrives with highs in the 60s and a mix of sun and clouds. So it is a great day to do a family egg hunt in the backyard. Only with the family, though. Those living at home. No guests.
Exactly.
Don't use real eggs, because if you don't find them in the raw, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, it's going to be a little weird. And of course, Jeremy, you and I were talking about this, things that we could look forward to this weekend. Obviously, it is Easter, and for those of you who celebrate, that's something to look forward to. And you actually told me about something that people can look forward to this weekend, Jeremy.
Yes, The Walking Dead World Beyond is premiering Sunday night. Another Walking Dead series. And I think this one, after reading about the synopsis and seeing the trailer, this is one that many people will connect to, because the characters, what we're going through now, are dealing with similar things. It's almost like a similar society. And when you see the previews and you see what they're doing, it's like, oh my God, like this is something that we could have been close to experiencing with what's going on. I have not watched any Walking Dead shows. I've seen a few episodes of the original Walking Dead. I've never seen Fear the Walking Dead, but this is one that I'm going to give
idea
a
of a
try.
pandemic.
The sad thing is I found out it's only supposed to be a 2-season, 10-episode thing. Maybe if we're lucky, if it does well, it will continue.
Exactly. Jeremy, thank you very much for the newscast. Moving on, we have, I almost said what we call it. We have the COVID Visualizer, of course. For those of you interested, you can find this on covidvisualizer.com. We got 4 country updates for you today. Here in the United States of America, there are currently 426,270 active cases. As you can see, the deceased and the recovered numbers here as visuals. Today, we only have an increase of 329 cases and an increase in 6 deceased. As per usual, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families suffering from the virus. Also, in U.S. news, Gavin Newsom declared California a nation state. For those of you who are unaware, because of the virus, this allows California to buy supplies without going through the federal government. And Governor Gavin Newsom's move basically implies that he's done with flattery and is taking matters into his own hands. If we move down south, going down to Brazil, as we know, they've been starting to suffer a bit. They are up to 17,000 active cases, 31 new cases today, and 3 more deceased as of today. As always, thoughts and prayers. Kaya, you're going to take it away for Europe.
Okay, so in Spain, there are currently 85,511 active cases with over 15,000 deceased and 56,000 recovered. And over to Poland, Central Europe, there's about 5,249 active cases, 175 deceased, and 318 recovered. So one of the interesting things is that the EU, I'm so sorry, words. The EU approved coronavirus state support for Portugal, Poland, and Greece. So apparently it's a 13 billion euro state aid program. And it's supposed to help out with a bunch of businesses and banks that are close to falling quiet and being economically affected. So hopefully this will help Europeans stay home and to ensure that we're containing the virus to the best that we can.
Yeah. And, it's something that we always want to keep people updated on, but, as these numbers may be a little frightening to some, we always want to remember to, if you do look at the COVID visualizer, my favorite part about it is that it does show the amount recovered, which is good. So
and
if
it's
you're ever
usually
having,
much higher.
and it is, almost always much higher than the amount deceased. So yeah, I think it'll be good. It's something that we'll all get through, and we'll all come out on the other side of this. I think I like to look on the bright side. I think we'll all come out on the other side of this better than before.
One thing that Sam Carliner actually told me, he is our assistant promotions director. He said that this is a challenging time, but it's really going to bring out the best in humanity. And exactly. Honestly, this is really unfortunate, and none of us would have ever imagined that we would be in a pandemic right now. But it's important that to realize the really good things that are going to come out of this, like just astounding medical research, and people are just going to take their health more seriously, and washing your hands and just hygiene is going to be definitely emphasized. So, but there's also a lot of really good things that medical experts are doing right now.
Exactly, and we always try and find positive stories with that. Speaking of which, speaking of things in the medical field, I'm sorry, I laugh because I love stories like this. I love weird animal stories. Yesterday we had some fantastic animal stories.
Yeah, I was going to say, on the Buzz we have a lot of animal stories.
We do. We like animals. Kaya's dog, I have declared is the unofficial mascot of the Morning Buzz. Maya is adorable.
Dear.
So we love animals here on the Buzz, and we love animal stories. And the first story we have to talk about today is a similar one. Ferret's coronavirus vaccine. Yeah, apparently ferrets could help in the race for treatments and vaccines for coronavirus. This is thanks to Apple News. The researchers delivered viral samples to the animals through the nose or via the trachea for ferrets, and basically measure the extent of the replication in tissue sites and whatnot. They find that COVID-19 replicated poorly in all the animals, but the ferrets and cats. In ferrets and older cats, it replicated in the upper respiratory tract, not the lung. Yeah, Annabella is typing in the chat, poor things. It's true. There are people who believe that animals shouldn't necessarily be used for medical science. You know, animal rights and cruelty and anything shouldn't be used for testing. However, to keep in mind, all these experiments were performed in Biosafety Level 4, which is, I believe, one of like the highest levels of
one of the highest
safety procedures
facilities, and it's definitely like a level where viruses basically they're so enclosed and they're so secured that because they're working with viruses that could be lethal to animals and humans, so it's definitely in a safe place.
So so the experiments were all performed in the Biosafety Level 4 facilities, and they were all following the protocols for animal welfare. Like I said, this story is brought to you by Apple News for those of you listening or watching if you are interested. But you know, I think it's interesting how we talked about, I believe earlier this week on the Buzz, how there was the first, I want to say, human to animal transmission. Wasn't that right? At the zoo, the tiger story.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at the Bronx Zoo, yeah. And
sounds very scientific.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how this virus is kind of, it's not just affecting people, it's affecting animals as well. But because it's affecting animals, obviously it's not necessarily a good thing. But if you look at this in the greater scheme of things, trying to look on the positive side, it could be a good thing. It basically gives researchers more ways and more ideas to test for vaccines. What do you guys think?
I'm an animal activist, so especially for the ferret story, I was really taken aback a little bit, but I have to understand and I have to put my beliefs aside because we're at a time where a lot of people are being affected. And you know, it's just the virus is an enemy right now. So if there's any way that we could stop the spread of the virus to potentially affect other people and other animals, then I'm for it. I think that's really important to really just understand that animals are going to be used for testing, but it's for overall benefit. And
I was like going on with that, Kai, like I've always been someone too that's like, it's not like the best thing that they are doing that, but I feel like there's a difference when they're testing like beauty products on an animal compared to medicine. Like the medicine is for an overall benefit. The beauty products, not everybody's going to use the beauty products that do you know what I mean? Like it's just, I feel like that's just for the benefit of like, all right, we have an animal here. Like, let's just test this extremely dangerous toxic on this animal. You know what I mean? So like, I guess I'm just, like Kaya said, it's for the benefit of everybody that like, people are dying because of this. People are not going to die if they don't get beauty products. So I think this is a different kind of case where I think it's okay. And as the story said, the animals were getting treated fairly and properly in this testing center. Mm-hmm. So that's also something we have to look at too.
Protocols, obviously, the protocols for animal welfare could definitely be more advanced and suitable for animals, but it's a start for sure. And the fact that they're obliging by it is, it's kind of warming in a way. It's warming.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, again, as we said, it's, we're really always just trying to look on the bright side. If you ever have stress, if you ever have troubles, you know, thinking of, I don't know, if you're in distress and you're listening and you might be thinking it's the end of the world, we can almost guarantee you it's probably not going to be the end of the world.
It's not.
We will get past this thing, and these stories
Absolutely.
are here to help show that. Researchers are working pretty much around the clock.
And I'll
And
also be curious to know, like, this might sound like really weird and out of the blue, but like, the virus, like, as I'm still told at this time, like reading online articles and stuff, the virus still came from a bat. And that's where a lot of people didn't know that came from and stuff. But I'm wondering if maybe testing on animals is an interesting idea too, of like seeing, like, because it did start in an animal, maybe it's something that can get fixed on something on the inside, if that makes any sense at all. Like,
yeah, maybe
I'm not a
key
scientist.
to fixing it is in animals.
Yeah, I'm not
exactly.
a scientist or anything,
here,
but like, I don't know. I'm just thinking that could be something that's like random. They're like, oh, it started in an animal. Maybe if we can get their respiratory systems, because a lot of animals, their systems are way different than ours. You know what I mean? They're a little less complex.
They're also similar in some ways, which is really effective.
Yeah, exactly. So if they know, okay, this works there, this could work here, maybe with like a higher dosage or something like that, you know? So I don't know. It's curious. Again, I'm not a scientist. Yeah. Don't credit me on any of that. But like,
you have a valid,
you have
to
think about
point.
But also, China has the ban on wildlife trade. Wildlife trade has always been around, and maybe after this pandemic is over, especially we're hoped. It's that, you know what I meant. I'm hopeful that, especially a lot of animal activists I'm sure they're hopeful that this will hopefully just prolong the ban, and people are just going to leave the wild animals alone.
I think we're just even speaking of hope, I'm like hoping that, like, just the way this started, a lot of it in China, and like they're just trying to end their like lockdown, and they're starting to celebrate and like put lights on their buildings. I saw a nice article yesterday about how they were starting to celebrate with using, like, you know how we've been supporting our essential workers in New York and stuff, we've been putting those blue lights up. They're just starting to celebrate that it's over, the lockdown. And it's just like, there's hope that since they ended theirs and it's been like their time 11 weeks, that hopefully after 11 weeks here,
it's on the horizon.
Might get to celebrate. Yeah.
There always is that hope that it's on the horizon for us, you know.
Yes.
And as we said, we all will get through this. And we hope that you guys can enjoy the show and enjoy. We're always going to try and bring you guys some positivity.
Yeah, stay positive during this time.
Tips on how to get through this. So that being said, one of our resident grocery experts, if you will, Amanda, you have a story for us.
All right, yeah. So this was according to CNN, in late March, Instacart worker Annalisa Arumbola, I hope I say that right, accepted a grocery order that came with a big tip, $55 from, obviously, Instacart. The store was just down the street. Everything the customer wanted was available, and the order seemed to go off without a hitch. But an hour later, she checked her earnings on the Instacart app, and the entire tip was gone, with a message saying the customer modified the tip post-delivery. She ended up making just $8.95 from the Instacart on the order. So this just brings up the whole idea to me that, like, even during an epidemic, people are getting a little nasty with their service tips. Like you guys all heard on the buzz yesterday, I work in a grocery store too. I don't work for Instacart, but I do work in a grocery store. And luckily, like I said yesterday, people have been really nice, with those exceptions of these few people. But this service industry has been having an issue for a while with people not tipping properly. I have friends that work there, and it's really sad that, like, even during this time where people are really struggling, and I get like it is a hard time for a lot of people. Over 15 million people have filed for unemployment in the US, and I get that. But in the same respect, everybody's also getting groceries, and you shouldn't be bribing someone with this money if you don't actually have it, or you're not going to actually give it to them. That's just awful. I know personally in this time, I've been tipping people actually more than I would on a normal basis, just because I know how crazy it's been. And like, me and my mom are both lucky to still have our jobs. So we're doing what we can, but it just makes me sad that, like, even during this time, like, like you're just trying to use this to your advantage because you hope that your order will be pushed to the top because you're trying to give a tip and then you just took it away.
Exactly.
Right. You also have to remember that those people who are doing the food shopping for those customers, they're putting their lives on the lines just to get them the food.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's not something that we would have said, you know, 3 months ago, you know, I work for Instacart and I'm putting my life on the line, you know, but really in this time, like just going to the grocery store, you're taking a risk, you know, you can go out and come back with the virus because I don't know, somebody, you know, hiccuped and got, you know, the virus on the box of Cheerios you just picked up for your neighbor.
Yeah.
It's really like, and it is discriminatory against kind of like struggling families, people who can't afford big tips. And so
even for broke college students that
or for
don't
broke
have
college
jobs,
students
that don't have jobs at all. Like for
and
instance,
the other thing
for
is,
instance, like when I do an Uber, order, you know, even if I just do like $1 tip or a $2 tip along with the service fee, it adds up to something. I'm sorry, Amanda.
No, that's a great example. For the longest time when I was using Uber, like all the time, like I'd still give someone a tip, like even though like it's just, you would think that they get paid, but like you also don't know what that other end is like, you know, working especially in like a restaurant. If we take that as an example, most waiters only make like $2 or $3 as their fee, and then like, I mean, as their salary, and then they're relying on tips.
On tips, exactly.
And this is like a problem across the U.S. This isn't just like solely like New Jersey. It's just now we're getting to that point where a lot of things are online deliveries and things, and you want to be, if that's going to be a little bit of our new norm after all this is over, I think we really need to start considering like giving money and actually considering those other people that are working and putting their lines and trying to feed people. And I know a lot more people are showing their appreciation for like service workers, because they're saying like, what do they say? They're saying like, you know, thank you for putting your lives at risk, like working in grocery stores and stuff. And at the end of the day, I'm thankful to have a job, and I'm thankful that they're saying that to me, but you also got to put in mind just respect too, I guess, in the same way. Like, I don't know, Jeremy, I know you work at a grocery store. I don't know if people have been telling you thank you while you're at the store or stuff. I get it like every day. People were telling me like, thank you so much for coming in. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's new. So I'm hoping this attitude changes a little bit, but you got anything to say on that, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I've noticed is so many people now more than ever are thanking me for the work I'm doing for the store. They're thanking my coworkers, and it's really nice because you don't really see that a lot in normal times, but because we're putting our lives on the line to help them out, they're showing their appreciation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Elisa actually pulled out some receipts. Oh my God, that's such a really horrible transition. I'm sorry.
Well, no,
wait, what?
Okay, Annalisa, the lady that we were talking about in the article, I just wanted to like give you guys an example. So apparently she actually pulled out a receipt from that very order that she was talking about, and the payment for the actual food items came in a total of $8.95. Then you can see that the customer tip was set for $54.95, but it was crossed over and it was $0, meaning that the customer actually took back the tip, which I think honestly I feel like that option should be taken off from Instacart.
Oh, yeah.
There should be a minimum. You shouldn't be allowed to say,
like
hey, go buy me a thing of bread and 2 cans of soup and I'll pay you $50. And then, you know, once it's delivered, just like an Uber order, you can be like, never mind, I'll take that back, you know?
I was going to say, yeah, it should be more of like an Uber, how Uber Eats does it, or Grubhub, that they do, like, there's like, you have to select something. Like, there has to be, I don't know, and like, Annabella's talking to us through our little chat, and she's saying, like, do you think it could have been a mistake? I don't know.
I don't think
so. I don't think you make a mistake that big. Like, if there's only a certain amount of items, and I don't know.
You have to physically go back into the app and just change the tip amount.
Yeah.
So for you to kind of butt dial that would be pretty hard. It's really
it's difficult to accidentally tip somebody $40-something on an
rather
$8
than
order.
take it away to zero.
Yeah.
I do want to say though, if you can't tip right now for like any reason, like you lost your job or you just don't have money laying around, that's fine. It's totally understandable. Do what you can. Like if you're getting service from something, like if it's a few dollars, do what you can. But also at the same time, if you can't do anything, just make sure you're being very respectful to these services. Like if you're going to a grocery store and you don't tip your grocery store workers, but like, you know, say thank you and show your appreciation, maybe help bag so that the other people don't have to, like, just the little things really do go a long way. And if you can't maybe give a lot, or whatever industry, it's like working in a grocery store, you can't give a tip, just show your respect. And that's what I would say on that matter.
Exactly.
Also, you know, when you're taking a walk and you see someone, you know, from across the street, or even when you're switching sidewalks because you don't want to run into someone, which I do, it's just so embarrassing, but just say hi. Even if you're embarrassed, just say hi, wave, smile. It makes all the difference.
It is. It's little stuff like that can make people's days, really.
Call your grandparents. I called my grandmother yesterday and she was so mad at me. You don't understand. She was a little bit mad at me because I have been a terrible granddaughter and I haven't been catching up with her. So we had an conversation over Facebook Messenger because my microphone on my phone doesn't work. So I've been just going to my computer and just call your grandparents. They miss you. They love you. I know that.
Give them a shout out.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love you, Grandma, if you're listening.
Exactly. It's small stuff like that that really means the world to people.
Yeah.
So kind of moving on, in the world of entertainment, you know, we've been seeing a lot of people do concerts and a lot of celebrities doing concerts and a lot of celebrities donating. And we all got very passionate about that before the show started. But before we get into that, we have another story for you here. Pink apparently just responded to the controversy about celebrities getting tested for coronavirus before everyone else. She appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show yesterday, remotely, obviously, and she opened up about her experience with the coronavirus. And she also addressed something that's been kind of controversial during the pandemic. Celebrities have been getting tested before normal people like us.
So yeah, for instance, you know, Pink and her 3-year-old son fell very seriously ill last month, and fortunately her 3-year-old son tested negative, but she tested positive. So I actually didn't know that she had the virus at all because I've been watching her Snapchat videos and she seemed totally fine as she's singing in the bathroom and doing yoga, and, you know, so I had no idea that she even had the virus. And apparently when she started getting symptoms, she made a call and immediately got the test. And she emphasized that her non-famous friends, even whether they have symptoms or not, are having trouble getting tested. And even my grandmother, you know, she knows she has 2 friends that actually are tested positive, and it took them about a week to get the results back. And it's like, once you start showing symptoms and you're waiting a week for the test to come in to say, you know, to tell you whether it's negative or positive, whether you are outside and you don't know and you're spreading it to other people, or it's gone by the time the test comes. So it's scary a little bit. It's a little scary. And she also mentioned that she's pretty upset with our healthcare system, and she's upset with how our government has handled the situation. So in response to that, she has donated over, like, I think about $1 million to a couple, just 2 hospitals, I believe. And just to show her appreciation. So, and she also quoted, "I would say you should be angry that I can get a test and you can't."
Yeah.
I don't, yeah. The whole, well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
You know, like, I will say that, yes, it is hard. I know people personally that have been waiting like a week or so to get a test or haven't been tested. But to kind of play like a devil's advocate, I guess, here.
Shoot.
I guess, like, for me, at the same time, the test, all it does is confirm it. You know, at the end of the day, if you're feeling symptoms, and what you should be doing is you should stay home. And I guess like looking at it at that angle, if you feel symptoms like your throat hurts or you have a cough or you just feel any of the symptoms that are listed online, just stay home. And because unless you are feeling breathing issues that you cannot breathe, that is the only reason you should be going to the hospital anyway. Or like if you have another medical issue, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like all it does is confirm it. So if you feel like you have it, like,
well, interestingly
like,
enough,
what is it going to do? It's just going to confirm it.
Yeah, even if you don't feel like you have it and you feel like you're healthy, we're finding a lot of people are just coming out asymptomatic.
Yeah.
You could actually have like a weakened respiratory system, and for whatever reason, you just don't have symptoms.
I think to add on to what you guys said, Amanda, you make a very fair point. But also you have to understand that, even if it does confirm it, it's important that confirmation,
it's a peace
that
of
closure,
mind for people, I think.
It's a
that
peace
closure
of mind,
is very important, and also we need these statistics.
Exactly.
And that's one of the controversies when China, we actually talked about this, that we can't really, or there was a time, or now, really depending on who you're talking to, that their numbers are not up to date. So we don't want our numbers not to be up to date. We want everyone to know what's going on. And to see
that makes sense. I guess
affected.
I feel like I can't wait till there's like an antibodies test, because I feel like that will be more interesting to know if we have the ability to fight the disease.
They have a plasma project.
Yeah, they're working on it. And I'm like, I'm excited to see that, because I'd probably definitely be like in line to get tested for that, because I feel like there was like articles circulating too. And I know this is a little off what we were talking about, but it definitely has to do with it. There's this whole idea that's been circulating the internet that if you were sick back like 2 months ago or so, or 3 months ago, you might have already had it and you just didn't know. And I don't know if you guys have been sick or you guys have been crucially sick at all, like, and you felt like, oh, I had a really bad cough, I couldn't really breathe, because back in December for me into January, there was times I couldn't breathe from being sick. I had a really, really bad cough. And it just was lasting for like a very long time. And I just thought it was just normal seasonal stuff. But like now that article was circulating, and a lot of my friends felt the same thing, that they were like, I was sick at this time for like days and it felt awful, like breathing issues and like coughing. And like, so people were saying like, you could have already had it and you just don't even know it, because it wasn't as big at the time, and people like came back with negative flu tests and they just had no idea. So it brings up that whole idea too. I don't know. I'm just going to go on a little rant here.
One thing I tend to wonder is that they say you could have it, but you don't know you have it. But then how do you get it? Like, that's the thing that worries me, is that, like somebody like me who I don't know. I've never been tested and I feel fine, but they say even without symptoms, it's still possible. And again, it's like, I'm starting to question, well, how does one who doesn't have symptoms but test positive for it, how do they get it?
Yeah. It's this whole thing.
It's a mystery.
It is. It really is a mystery. I mean, I guess, interestingly enough, kind of going on, my friend, I just recently found out, I was on, I run a Discord server, and I was, and I have a bunch of my friends on it, and my friend who I hadn't talked to in a few weeks had popped up on it, and we were just talking, and I forget how it got up in conversation, but he was like, yeah, I had it for a little bit, and everybody in the server just stopped and was like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. And he said, yeah, his symptoms were really bad, and that was how he got tested. Is he went into the hospital, and it's almost like, unless your symptoms are really bad, it's kind of hard to get tested.
I think to tag on with what like Kaya was originally saying about like, Pink getting tested, to bring it back a little bit.
Yeah.
I like, do that little circle. I think like,
it's not that funny, Ryan. It's not that funny.
Yes, it is kind of like annoying when these other people are getting it, but also at the same time, they're not the only ones that are able to get the test. Like these rich celebrities, we're seeing people in prisons get tested before other people. We're seeing sometimes if you're a nurse, you get more access to them because you're a nurse.
Exactly.
So it's just like, I don't know. It's like, it's a very hard thing. Like, yes, it sucks that we can't like get the test, but like, I don't know. I think we're just going to have to, like I said, like kind of just, if you feel the symptoms, just do what you're supposed to do. Everybody should be staying home anyways. So,
and don't give up. If you feel like you're having symptoms and you're positively sure that, you know, that you've definitely checked, what is wrong with my vocabulary?
Checked out.
It's like checked out boxes. Okay. No, because my brain is working faster than my face.
Words. Kai has had enough coffee this morning.
That's true. So make sure that you try to get tested. Try to get tested.
If you think you have symptoms that are like crucial to like, that are like really, that are showing and you're not asymptomatic or whatever, go to your local testing site. I know there's quite a few in New Jersey now. Like some of them are call aheads if you're in a certain county, I believe, but like, and even talk to your doctor too, because sometimes they might have access to tests. I know that's been happening too. So
make sure that you call in. If you can call in first, make sure that you call in to And if you need to have that confirmation, if you have it or not, you'll know if you're eligible or not, and it will save you that will not save you that trip, but it's like, you know, you would have to take that trip when you know that you need to take it, rather than taking that trip when you don't have to.
Yeah. Now, an interesting thing, earlier when I said we were all getting kind of fired up about this before the buzz. So, and this is something that I want to talk about.
Evil hands.
So evil hands. So something that I do want to talk about is so obviously celebrities, you know, are probably getting tested before other people, but this part isn't really about the tests. It's more what celebrities are doing. I want to know y'all's opinions on the fact that there are many celebrities that are obviously doing their best. They're putting on concerts like from their homes, trying to entertain people, making PSAs saying we're here for you, all this stuff. They're
entertaining themselves?
Trying to raise money. Are they entertaining themselves? And, you know, compared to the celebrities who say make $500,000 an episode of whatever show that they're on, when they can really just donate, I don't know, say $5 million, which for many celebrities, as crazy as this may sound for us, $5 million for many celebrities is
not a lot.
Like, it's not a lot at all. It can be, depending on the celebrity, we're talking maybe like 5% of your net worth.
5% of what they probably have in their bank account.
Yeah, not even their net worth. 5% of what they have in their savings.
I'd get a little feisty on this story. So like, I don't know if someone else wants to take the lead.
Bring out your Sasha Fierce, just in a PG rated fashion, please.
All right, I'll try my best then. I guess it just makes me like wonder. There are a lot of artists, don't get me wrong, that are giving money. Like we just talked about with Pink. Pink gave like $1 million. Good for her. That's great. I totally appreciate
pull up some receipts to see what celebrities actually donated.
Yeah, I think Lady Gaga donated money. I'm like, people are donating money, and I'm not saying that every star should, because not every star can. I know, like if we look at Broadway, for instance, a lot of people in the Broadway world that aren't big time celebrities, I don't know if you guys would know this, but a lot of them are really making like a certain kind of salary a week, unless they're a Tony nominated or won a Tony or are a big star that just came to Broadway, like someone like Hugh Jackman that's coming in the fall.
Yeah.
Nobody is making that big amount of money on Broadway. And so I've been seeing them raise money for the Actors Fund and stuff. That's
Hugh
cool.
Jackman is on Broadway?
In the fall, yeah. He's going to become, if the fall happens.
My Greatest Showman dreams.
He's going to be in The Music Man.
That's so cool.
But yeah, also resident Broadway knowledge, I guess.
It better be live streamed. You know, it better be live streamed.
I don't know about that one because it has him and Sutton Foster, but that's a different story for a different day. We'll have a different day.
But speaking of celebrities, I know the late night hosts are hosting a fundraiser on April 18th, a COVID-19 benefits event that you could stream. So they're giving back.
Yeah, but
I
so
guess
here's
that's
the
just the
question
problem,
too.
though. Like, because we talked about before the show, like Jimmy Fallon makes 11 million a year. Like, where's that money going? You know what I
So
mean?
he's entertaining, obviously, the people, which is important. So
Yes.
this isn't to trash celebrities. You know, one of the biggest problems that we're starting to see with COVID, it's not the amount of people infected. It's not the possible lack of resources. It's none of that. The biggest problem that we're starting to see is people's mental health is declining. This is something that we will be bringing up in later weeks on the Buzz with future interviews with health experts. But you know, so
I read an
the
article that
things.
the headline, the hotline,
Hmm.
the I don't know for word by word, but I think it's the National Mental Health Hotline.
Yeah.
It increased the number of phone calls they received increased by 800%. So
The other
It's
thing is too that besides the mental health, there's a lot of the domestic abuse rate has gone up too, because
exactly.
people are trapped in their homes with like maybe abusive family members and stuff, and so that rate has gone up as well, and that's where a lot of people are struggling. So the entertainment is helpful in a
Yeah,
way to distract.
exactly.
and
So
But
the entertainment
yeah.
isn't just self, you know,
yeah,
isn't just, you know, celebrities really making themselves feel better. It is very important and it is necessary to raise money. I believe personally, and feel free to disagree with me, the biggest problem comes in to some of these huge celebrities are raising this money, which is fantastic. They're entertaining people, which is helping mental health, but some of them aren't necessarily donating themselves.
yeah.
It's very important to donate your time when you can. You know, it's very important to help raise money. I know my church is now doing a service thing where we're delivering food to people. We're doing like grocery runs for
Yeah.
people of the elderly that we can sign up for.
Yeah, we
And
are
it's all
seeing a
very
lot of
important.
those good positive stories. I think I saw, was it Tyler Perry the other day that he like went to the grocery store and paid for like 20 to 30 people's like bills of groceries and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And it's like that's like the good stuff that people are doing. You have money, and I'm not saying like every celebrity doesn't have the money that like someone like, I don't know, like think of the biggest star, like someone like Beyonce has, like I don't know,
Yeah.
like, you know, but the people like that, like I might be wrong, but I haven't seen Beyonce give anything right now. And
Well,
Yeah, it's
But you also
important
have to
to
take
see
into
these things.
consideration that some of these celebrities prefer to keep these donations private.
that
I
too.
know. I
That
know
is
that
also
I
true.
know that I've heard some celebrities say that, you know, if I am donating, I don't want it to be a public spectacle, because a lot
Yeah.
of, you know, I can be skeptical sometimes, and when I see that these celebrities are donating $1 million during this time, then I'm like, okay, maybe they're trying to get some attention, and they're trying to basically upkeep their reputation in a way. And I wish they would have donated a little bit earlier. We are seeing that they're starting to donate kind of as the pandemic is, as it's affected the country more as time has passed.
Yeah.
But things like the Miley Cyrus, you know, the Miley Cyrus.
the Miley Cyrus.
I've been
You
on
okay
a roll.
over there, guy?
I've been on a roll here. Miley Cyrus has an Instagram live show that
Yeah.
I don't know if it's every day or if it's every week, but she's had guest stars like Alicia Keys and Millie Bobby Brown and really
me.
important people.
The
Jeremy Wall.
legendary Jeremy Wall, yeah.
And
World famous.
she's doing things like, oh, it's Selena Gomez, and how she's talked about her mental health during this time. And she also did a small thing like donating, I think, how many tacos was it? 120 tacos to healthcare
I did
workers.
see that.
Yeah.
I did see that.
But it goes to
That
show
was
that.
important.
So it kind of, I guess, again, it's kind of like a back and forth of, you know, people are raising money. They might be keeping their donations private, but, you know, again, personally, I believe that there's nothing wrong with raising money as long as you're also, you know, if you have the money, try and, you know, donate a little. This is not to I'm not talking to the middle class workers who are working construction who still have their jobs, you know, thank God. But, you know, I'm talking to the people who are making $500,000+ every time they put their face on TV.
If you can donate, give.
Exactly. If you can donate, give. And also there are some there are a lot of people donating. These stats are according to Vogue. Lady Gaga raised 35 millions. Rihanna's foundation donated 5 million.
Wow.
Leonardo DiCaprio raised 12. Oprah donated $10 million. Dolly Parton donated $1 million, and Kylie Cosmetics donated $1 million towards specifically protective gear. And then a fun little wrap up thing: Jay-Z didn't just donate money; he donated 100,000 surgical masks.
Oh,
so people are donating.
Yeah.
So it's good to
hopefully
see that.
Beyonce is connected to that, Amanda.
Yeah, I know, right? Hopefully. So I was wrong, I guess then. But yeah, I don't know. But it does. The people that did give, though, it does give a little hope that it's nice that people are doing things like in the industry, because sometimes our government can lack, and so yeah, I think
Positivity.
that like celebrities and these other organizations we were talking about, the other day, sports teams are donating like these surgical masks and other things. So it's good to hear. And like even schools are getting involved and stuff. We saw last week, or maybe it was this week, I'm losing my track of my days, that Montclair was doing stuff too. So yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna, try to be delightful and say this. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you are only hope.
Annabella has a
Classic.
So
thank you, Annabella.
I only just saw that movie this past 4 months ago or something. Like so I'm lame, but
it's definitely time for a Star Wars reunion.
Oh.
So now heading over to Disney and Pixar and Marvel. So beginning yesterday, staffers at these labels were notified of more furloughs. Am I saying it right? Furloughs. Basically impacting staffers who cannot perform their job duties due to these shutdowns. Most departments that were affected were marketing and distribution, one insider said, as Disney's film release calendar has been upended by the mass closure of movie theaters across the country. So there are definitely some releases that are being pushed back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have Disney Plus. We still have Disney Plus. So that's important. We've got Netflix. I mean, no, not Netflix, but Disney Plus. We're talking about Disney. So I don't have Disney Plus, so I'm being a hypocrite. But for those that do have Disney Plus,
I do want to mention with the whole Disney thing. On I believe it's April 18th. About half of their employees are going to be furloughed from the theme parks, as well as Universal just announced this month as well, the theme parks, that they're furloughing all their part-time members. And
the parks are closed. So
it's hard for them. And I'm a big Disney fan as well. And I just was listening to something the other day. Yeah, Kai. I was just listening to something the other day that said, Disney actually makes 40% of their sales through the parks. So like think of everything Disney. I'm being serious. Think of everything Disney owns. They own like ESPN, they own ABC, they own
Marvel, Pixar,
Marvel, all those other sources. But most of their income, or almost half of their income, comes from those theme parks. And since all of them are not open right now, they're losing a lot of money.
And also the like mentioned before, these movies that are being pushed back, these releases in movie theaters, that's definitely not working in their favor.
Oh, no, not at all.
And they're really just trying to bank on Disney Plus right now, or any forms of paid streaming. That is kind of like their focus right now. And it is what it is.
And the other thing is too, like in that argument, because like Universal is doing significantly less than Disney a little bit. So this big idea of, does the Universal company like Comcast that owns them, are they still making a decent amount of money even though the economy is not the best right now? Like with maybe like some of their broadcasting that's still happening. Like we see SNL is going to happen this week. Probably a lot of people are going to tune into that. So they're still making money off their broadcasts with the news and stuff. So I'm wondering if Universal, the company Comcast, is making more money and doesn't have to furlough as many employees as Disney does, which is interesting.
And yesterday in a live interview with Montclair Economics. Thank you. Economics. Okay. Professor no, I'm kidding. On our show News Dive, we learned that the economy is on a free fall right now. It does feel more like a free fall into a black hole. More than 16 million have filed for unemployment. So there is more expected to come. But if you really look at this,
so
and
if
you're interested in listening to that on News Dive, you can check out the interview and more on our SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's expected to come because we are in a pandemic right now. And if we're being told to stay home and to put our health first, money is not a fan to health. So
no.
They're not really a good, they are a good combination if you have enough money for healthcare, but they're not close. They're not cousins, let's just say.
Yeah,
like my metaphor.
Exactly.
Passover and Easter this year are being celebrated.
Nice transition.
Speaking of staying home and staying positive.
Yes.
Passover and Easter are this week.
And tradition's really something that keeps you grounded, according to Maya Lotan, founder of Days United, a Bay Area company that sells something called Passover in a box. Guys, I've never heard of that, but I'm really curious to know what it is. The package, which is right now sold out, is designed to be a resource for parents and to get children involved in holiday rituals. Not a bad idea. And it's also a wooden Seder plate that doubles as a puzzle, and there's a 10 Plagues memory game. Brings me back to the good old days when I was younger. Whatever togetherness we can create, it's going to give us a sense of security, Lotan says. Parents already exhausted from homeschooling may not want to do any lesson planning tagged to the spring holidays. But let's keep in mind, connecting with relative themes can be a good way to maintain tradition. And Teaneck was home to a surge in cases of the coronavirus here in New Jersey. Bishop's confectionery owner, Steve Mather, a longtime fixture in town, is thanking Lucky Stars that he could sell Easter candy and that he recently started accepting credit cards for the first time in the ice cream parlor's 86-year history.
And it's just awesome to see that, even in this pandemic, we always try to cover stories like this on the Buzz. And
positive.
Exactly. We always try to cover positive stories and how people are still doing the things they love. How people are we've covered so many stories of people getting married during this entire thing.
With cardboard cutouts and the priest on the webcam.
Exactly. We literally covered that story. We've been covering how people are celebrating birthdays. We have a video to wrap up the show involving that. We have people, and now we have people celebrating the holidays and celebrating these important times of the year with their families, because let's be honest, sometimes our lives can be extremely busy, and as bad as it may seem, we might not be, able to see our families. And the holidays give us a chance to kind of come together and see our families. Annabella killed me with this image that she is sharing. For those of you who are listening, you can find us on YouTube to see the image. It's basically a Zoom call of the Last Supper saying with the title, okay, hello everyone, Judas, you on? And it's a Zoom call of the Last Supper. There's a joke behind there if you know Christian lore, I guess.
Went to Catholic school.
Yeah, so. There you go. But it's the holidays really are a time for people to get together, and it's great to see that this whole thing is not, separating people from getting together. So, like, for example, it's Passover right now, and as my girlfriend's Jewish, the other day she had a Seder with her entire family on Zoom. Most of her family lives in New Jersey, so I've been to their Passover Seders before, and they are huge. Like, the whole family gets together. So they had a whole family Seder through Zoom, and it was like a family dinner. And it was,
that must have been so interesting. Everyone just talking on everyone.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, they talk over each other anyways, but it was really cool to see that people are still doing stuff like that. And
I think if anything positive comes out of like as a whole out of this whole situation is I think a lot more people are going to be connected with their families and friends a lot more and have an appreciation for them after not seeing them, but also I don't know, like just also being able to gather still on a holiday and not take that for granted now. And like, I don't know, I think this is going to be good. I've been seeing a lot more families be active on the streets and also just playing games online and doing things. And I think this is a good thing, even though it's a really negative situation. I'm hoping it's good for at least that at the end of the day.
Exactly. So, Kaya, as our, relative as our resident Polish person, I always love hearing facts about Poland.
Your Polish
so
correspondent.
our Polish correspondent. What you actually have prepared for us some Polish traditions for the holidays.
I feel like Americans need to be more educated.
Kaya.
Americans need to be more educated on Polish traditions and how great Poland is. So basically, one of the first things that we do is, I think it's a week before Easter, we have a holiday called Niedziela Palmowa, which basically means the day of the palms or the Sunday of palms. And we create this little dried palm made out of wheats and different kind of plants. And we go to church with this, and the priest comes and splashes it with holy water, so blessing the plant that we keep in our homes. It's really sweet. I remember in Polish school, I used to make these, and they're incredibly hard to make. So we go to the store now and get them. Another tradition is we like to visit Christ, a figure of Christ that is decorated in a tomb at church, and we like to pray in front of it as one of our traditions. And we also paint these little hard-boiled eggs out of scratch. They're specific in design.
Oh my goodness.
Those are beautiful.
I don't know if we made those. I'm not quite sure. It did come in this box, so.
But you can still, the whole idea is we can still do these traditions in some way, cultural specific traditions, whatever holiday specific traditions. Those eggs really are beautiful, and you can still paint stuff like that during the holidays.
Another really fun holiday, just to end, it's basically called Wet Monday. So the Monday after Easter, kids go around and they start splashing each other with water. It's kind of like an April Fool's joke when you tape the shower head and you just splash someone, but it's basically, it's meant to cleanse yourself of the sins and to prepare for spring and what's to come. So it's fun. It's great. I really want to see how people are gonna do this at home during this time. I want to see how creative they're gonna get.
Exactly. So, all in all, something to take away is, you can still celebrate these holidays at home. You can still celebrate special occasions at home.
Not just Easter and Passover. You can celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, everything.
Exactly. So I actually had a personal experience with this. But before I get into it, here's the video I actually got to take.
How are you? Hi. Happy birthday.
Ryan's voice.
For those of you listening, the video is my neighbor, the little girl. It was her birthday. She lives across the street from me, and I was sitting in class and I kept hearing honking from outside, and I live on a small street. I kept hearing all this honking outside, so I ran outside and saw that she was having a birthday party in her yard, and there were probably, I'd have to say, well over 20 cars lined up all the way down my small street, just in a
popular
convoy.
Little girl.
Exactly. Just in a convoy, going one at a time, honking their horns, waving hi, and saying happy birthday. So no matter what, just something to remember here at the top of the hour on 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair.
Stay positive.
Stay positive. Look on the sunny side of life. I told this to Kaya, and I like to tell this to other people. If you're having trouble finding good stuff, yeah, exactly, and you'll see this in the upcoming newsletter. Try and find little good bits in every day, even if it's just, I had a good cup of coffee this morning. So something to take away for the weekend. Happy holidays to those of you listening. Remember, you can always find us on socials. You can find us on YouTube.
Check out our YouTube channel.
Recordings after. Yeah.
We've been really
Booming.
staying on
We've
top
been
of
booming.
that.
Exactly. So thank you very much for listening to this week's edition of the Morning Buzz here on Fridays. My name's been Ryan Trick. My co-hosts have been
Hi, Maciak, Polish correspondent.
Jeremy Wall and Amanda Marino for contributors. Thank you all very much for listening. We'll see you guys back next week. Peace out. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.